All right, here we go. So dad dressed this girl for kindergarten. He put her overalls on backwards.
I'll just do it later. Forget it. I'll do it. It's more complicated than that, though.
Do you see this?
I must say I applaud the honesty.
Just look at that face. Tell me, what does that face say to you, Drex? What does that face say to you?
Ugh.
So here's the situation, right?
But it says most frequently seen in. I'm assuming they're gonna say
most frequently seen in cis het relationships.
Let me guess, it's the man's fault.
It's men more than women.
Yeah.
So the phenomenon that they're talking about is that like there are simple tasks and men feign incompetence to manipulate and control women into doing the menial task.
Yep.
Rather than that. So like one of those was the little girl where like the dad put her overalls on backwards. This girl's like, is it that hard to put your kids' clothes on the right way? Anyway,
I tell all women the same thing that complain all day about men. Man, look, start eating pussy or get out the fucking game. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole man bashing thing is starting to get really tired.
Look at this fucking face. Oh, damn it. Could you imagine being in a relationship with that? Having to deal with that shit all day?
But though, hold on. Who's the gatekeeper of relationships, Nick? Men or women?
Women.
No, men.
Oh,
women are the gatekeepers of sex. If a woman wants a relationship,
right,
she needs to go through a man. So ultimately, Nick, who's getting in relationships with these women? It's these dudes. Why are you dating a chick? Look, listen to that voice, that snide kind of way that she speaks, right? That's on you, bro. Nah, I'm gonna go ahead and put that L on the dude. Like, you're the ones out here, for all you guys out here still dating because you're stupid. You're dating women like this. You're having kids by women like this. You're cohabitating with women like this. Stop.
Here we go. The audio's too low for the chat. Sorry. Let me make sure it's actually on. I thought I turned it on, but you just listen to a little bit of this. Drex, here you go.
Ladies, fill your own stockings yourself, otherwise they'll be empty on Christmas.
She might be right, but I have a solution. We call it a magic card. My partner and I use the fair play method. The main tenets are that anybody who is going to complete a task needs to hold the entire task as their responsibility. We call that the CPE. From conception to planning to execution, you are fully responsible for that task. So in the video, he's like, I was going to do it if you gave me a list, or just give me a list and it will get done. That's the execution part. Execution of things is very outsourceable. So she doesn't need somebody to buy a bunch of stuff that she already planned out. She's still ultimately responsible for making sure that there are things in the stockings.
Okay, I can't sit and listen to it. Me and my partner do this, right? Like we have this magic card and it's CPE method. Could you imagine being in a relationship with someone who does that to you?
No, because I've never been bitch made.
Are you sure? What about when you had that Dom? She does say partner, which I find to be curious. I wonder if she's with a male or a female.
She's with a male, because women don't make videos bashing other women. They make videos to bash men.
Well, she didn't bash her own partner.
Well,
she was talking about someone else's partner. And she said, me and my partner, we have this method.
Yeah. But as a general rule of thumb, women blame men for everything in the same way the black community blames white people for everything, right? Even if there's no white person around, black people blame white people. If there's no men around, who do women blame, Nick? Do they blame women or themselves? No, they go, men. It doesn't matter, right? They always blame men. Like, How did you wind up with 5 kids by 5 different men? These men are horrible. They ran off. Like, no, it's you. You're getting on your back, right? It's always been you. Now, as for the dudes, Nick, if a woman ever spoke to you in that tone, in that voice, what happens? Deuces.
Bye.
I've never been in these scenarios. Look, I didn't even understand what the hell the doghouse was, right? Like, you watch shows like, I guess I'm in the doghouse, and the laugh track comes on. I was like,
I start doing that every time you say anything. I'm going to laugh track you.
I don't understand the doghouse. That's so fucking stupid. Because, Nick, you're in control. How are you in the doghouse? I was on the couch. I had to sleep on the couch last night because the missus was mad at me.
I sleep on the couch all the time. It has nothing to do with anybody being mad at me. It's because couches are wonderful.
They're great.
And I sit down after a show and I go, all right, let's sit down and eat this.
Yep.
I'm done.
Well, in Alabama, our girl Kat has the best couch ever, Nick. Shout out to her, by the way. Best couch ever. I'm not lying. Like, you lie down and he's like this. Body gets weak. Love her couch.
Weak in the knees.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, but one thing about that chick, that last thing on her. Drexel, what do you think it all boils down to, though?
For her?
It's capitalism is the problem.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she's a fucking commie. Like that's what it, like, it's not a joke. I'm not making it up. In one of the later videos, that's where it goes. So we live in a capitalist society. It's a patriarchy. And if you're stuck in this capitalist patriarchy, blah, 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 blah. She's just she's literally a communist out there, like, talking about this.
What does that have to do with, wait, what is the term that she used?
Weaponized incompetence.
Weaponized incompetence, and the source of all this is capitalism?
Yep. That's because capitalism is patriarchy, and therefore in a patriarchal society, blah, blah, blah. And of course, the whole thing, this whole article was nonsense about how, like, men aren't doing their fair share. And of course, it doesn't talk about the men going out and working.
Never.
Right? It just talks about at home, they're not doing their fair share. It's like, well, I mean, look, if it's a single earner household, then that dude's out 10, 12 hours out of the day.
Yeah, working, providing.
Right. And then the expectation is that the partner is at home maintaining the home.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the exchange. That's the thing. But it talked about the language of the provider is oppressive as well. It's phenomenal.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean the language of the provider? What is that supposed to mean?
You just said out there working, providing. Yeah, that's oppression. That's not an excuse for being weaponized incompetent.
You know what? She's right. She's right. Nick, any guy who's in a relationship like this, I hope everything bad happens to them. Everything. And I do mean Nick, I mean everything. Oh, you got reamed in the family court? Good. You were with a woman like this and you didn't get out? Like, I can see if she was a chameleon, right? Like, she did a bait and switch. This woman seems like she's always been like this. You know, some people you can kind of be like,
oh, yeah.
You can just kind of tell. Yeah, that's
not acquired behavior.
Yeah, that's not something that she just flipped one day. Nah.
I'm going to educate you on how to be a better partner. Fuck off.
Yeah. Control Alt Delete that bitch.
So one of the relationship things that Lady Rackets and I have done over the years was really good in one specific area. The guy who did this class or whatever, he said, okay, here's what you need to do. Draw a circle around yourself on the floor and then work on everything inside the circle, because that's the only thing you can change.
Yep.
And it's like the second you've got some chick going on TikTok shaming her partner for not doing something right. Like, first of all, the audacity of that.
Yeah.
Can you believe this man's right? Like, oh, that.
But who do you think TikTok is filled with?
Women.
Right? Women. Because
yeah,
what do women crave above all things in existence? Attention. It's all about attention, right? So they go on TikTok to say, look at me, and to get that validation, right? Like, yeah, you show him, girl. I tell men, if you're in one of these scenarios, just leave, right?
What about this?
Just leave.
So this is a headline I saw the other day. A guy and his wife were having a discussion, and she said she felt like he needed to take a moment or whatever. So she tells him, she's like, I think you need to take a moment. Things are getting pretty intense or whatever. I don't know. I didn't get the impression they were fighting. They were having an intimate discussion between the two, right? Husband and wife. He goes outside and lays down on like a thing or whatever, and he gets a little emotional. He has some, I don't know, he's crying about something. But he's alone. He's processing something. I don't know what it was. Doesn't matter. She films it and puts it up on social media.
That's weak.
That first of all. Stop crying.
Yep.
Stop crying. And that's
Who are
why
these dudes though, man?
he looked like an in shape dude. I don't know. He looked relatively normal, but he goes out to have a private moment and have an emotion or two, I guess. Heaven forbid. And then what'd she do? Surreptitiously records it and puts it on social media. It's like
Violated the man's trust.
But here's the message. What does that say to you? Is there any respect that she
None.
has for his crying? None. Oh, look. And I don't think she put it out in a mean way or whatever, but still, she puts it out on social media. What the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?
Guys, don't cry. People always, I always get weird feedback on this. They're like, oh, don't say that. Don't cry.
Well,
Don't
we
do
had
it.
Ty Beard on, and we talked about when it's okay for men to cry. There's literally like 3 scenarios ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, when these dudes right here crying over just menial stuff, are you serious?
But
yeah, this shit. But Nick, all of these guys deserve it. You see what I'm saying? We need to start listen. Dudes need to start checking other dudes. If you date a feminist, we have to disown you. If you date a woman who even says even a hint of something like this woman is saying, right? This so-called commie chick. Guys, you be like this. You know what, bro? You're on your own, right? So then dudes start to realize, wait a minute. If I start dating these kinds of toxic women, Nick, I lose all my friends, and that you don't get to get them back. Like that, you have to basically choose your friends and being a man, or being a bitch-made cuck underneath the rule of a female dictator in the home, a domestic terrorist.